Attempts to get an accurate picture of what life is like in any Christian community, such as ones with whom A Voice in the Desert has been associated over the past 45 years, will always be frustrated by the fact that there can be almost nothing that applies to all such communities over all periods of time. Any description would be incomplete, and even if it weren't, it could not guarantee that beliefs and practices might not change tomorrow. On the surface, it would seem that the best way to find out the truth about any group would be to ask a former member. But is there any guarantee that a former member will be more truthful or more accurate in describing what goes on inside an organisation? Suppose you wanted to know what life is really like working with executives of Microsoft, and suppose you found someone who'd been fired by the company for misconduct. Would that be a good source of accurate information? Suppose you wanted to know what married life really was like for a couple that you had known for a year, and there was an acrimonious divorce. Do you think you could trust either party to give you an accurate picture of what really went on in the marriage behind closed doors? And so it is with regard to the various communities with which A Voice in the Desert has been associated around the world over the past 45 years. Each of them have had members come and go. Most have left and either had friendly relations with the group or never been heard from again. But a tiny minority have left with deep-seated hatred for someone in the community, most notably for A Voice in the Desert himself. To give an idea of how rare these disgruntled members have been, a television show in England contacted Voice and said they wanted to do a programme on what he'd been doing over the years, but they felt that it needed what they called balanced coverage. They needed someone who would say something negative about Voice, or about one of the communities associated with him. The mere fact that they could not find anyone to criticise him in itself was a strong indication that the group must have done something right over the years. However, A Voice in the Desert knew of one slightly unbalanced, obsessive-compulsive man in Texas who'd been consumed with hatred for him, despite never having met him. After visiting a small community in Texas for just 20 minutes in the early 2000s, he said that his spidey sense picked up that something was wrong, and he literally climbed over the couch to flee after a huge anxiety attack. That was his one and only personal encounter with the community, and yet the TV producers accepted him as their key witness for a 2-day debacle because they could not find anyone better. They flew him to London and put him up in style as their primary source of evidence against Voice. Although they were not able to get anyone else to appear on the show in person, they did manage to get a statement from someone in Korea who had been in a community in Australia 25 years earlier to give his inside opinion on what was actually happening with regard to several community members who donated kidneys to people suffering from incurable kidney disease. Never mind that the first kidney was donated by a community member 15 years after this person in Korea left the community, and that he had not been in touch with the community since his departure. Are you getting the picture? Disgruntled ex-members are rare, and the ones who do become available for interviews are not vetted by the media or by cultbusters. They are not only prepared to believe any lie such people will tell, but will do all they can to exaggerate the lie and to protect the perpetrator's credibility from challenge. To learn more about what A Voice in the Desert actually teaches, please click on the link at the end of this video. Thank you for listening.